So I'm going to show you how to set up your Seesaw account right from the beginning today. You go to the website app.seesaw.me and it takes you to the screen. Go to I'm a teacher. Don't need this information. I have it automatically set on my laptop. You want to go to create account and you want to put in your information. Thanks to Jennifer Kroll letting me use her information. Change this to her information. And you want to make sure you're using your school email so it connects your account. Create teacher account. Because our district has already actually set things up for us, we're going to, it should all be in there so that you have the upgrades that you need. So we're going to name her class Miss Kroll. And at this point, she was kindergarten. Hopefully she'll still be kindergarten. And you see the green check. The green check is how we submit things in Seesaw. So it's going to set our class all up. You know that yours is connected to the school setup because if you look over here where it has skills, let me see if I can actually get this. Over here it says skills. This is actually an upgrade. So if you have skills right there, you're right where you need to be. So you should be all set. Now you have your class. So over here you have kind of a little dashboard. You have the student journal, your activities that you're going to put in. You have an inbox and you have skills. This inbox is not connected to your school email. This is separate for Seesaw. Every class is built in with a sample student, and there's different uses for the sample student, mostly to practice your activities from the student viewpoint. You'll see that you have some folders you'll be able to access. This is a add-on feature, the skills, and this is where you'll go to connect your activities to possibly IEP goals or your report card entries that you'll have to make, the areas that you log in your report card, or maybe Common Core state standards. Over on this side, you'll see this is where her class information is. So you click on this and you have two things here. This one allows you to work in your own, to toggle between classes. Here's where you're going to set some of your features. So the first thing you want to do, you see up when we were there before, we had this a notification. So we want to select your school and we're going to go to find our school. And you can see because we logged in with the mtcps.org, we have sites already set up. So if you're in King, you're going to choose King. Seminole, you're going to choose Seminole. And it gives you who else is already set up on your school. And just click the X. So when we go back in, it's now set for Seminole Academy. So there's ways you can scan QR codes. And if you ever need help, you can click on this little help button and it takes you right to the Seesaw help documents. You can search for what you want, like how do I input student names? And if you hit search and then scroll down, it's giving you these different options here at the bottom. Just don't forget to scroll down. I always think it's going to add it at the top. So maybe how do I add students to my class and so on. So they have a really good help situation here. Cross that out. So we're back in Jen's setup. So if we go over here to her account settings, when we click on those, she's going to be able to set up her profile information is already in here, Jennifer Kroll. This is a display name. If you don't want the kids to see Jennifer, you might put Miss Kroll. You can adjust that. There's icons here. You can take a picture with your webcam. You can upload an image. This is where you'll see some people maybe want to put in maybe their wonderful school photo or a Bitmoji image, or maybe you have a picture of yourself with your dog. Whatever it is that you want to show up as your icon, then you can add that in here. So you can change that. Your click off that. Her email is here. You can add your phone. I haven't done any of that. You want to change your password, the school directory, if you need to change which school you're at. We don't need to worry about Seesaw Plus because the upgrade we have goes beyond that. That would only be if you started with the free version and you wanted to pay extra. We do not need to do that. Email notifications. This is important. Basically, every time a student submits an assignment to you, you're going to get an email. If you don't want an email every single time, so for example, if you have 24 students, 10 assignments again a day, that would be 240 emails. We don't want that. We're going to click that off. If you would rather have those 240 texted to you, you could turn that on. I choose not to. The recommendation I saw was to keep tips, tricks, and Seesaw updates marked so that should you need to have do an upgrade or something like that, or there's a new feature coming out, you'll be notified. Archive classes are for the end of the year. We do not need to worry about archive classes just yet. If you had them, your information would save and you would be able to probably retrieve that, etc. We don't need to worry about that now. So when you have all your settings here set up, I think I need to move mine. Don't use delete account. You certainly wouldn't want to do that. And then simply close it out and it should save that information. And you can double check to see if it's saved simply by going up to your account settings. And if it's saved, oh, that must be MK for Miss Kroll. Oh, for her display name, I put M Miss Kroll, so it went to MK. So maybe we want to change that. So it did save. So she'll be able to play with that when she chooses. So all of her information is still here. She closes out, and it did change it here. Also, under your little wheel, you can share Seesaw with different people. For example, if you have a friend who only has the free version, if you give them this little code, they can get 3 months of Seesaw Plus. So be nice to your friends. You can contact Seesaw support through here, get information about your device, and look and see what their privacy features are. Sign out. You will stay signed in, like when I'm using this on my laptop, it'll stay signed in until I click sign out. One thing you might want to do, it says create new class. You can actually have several classes going at one time. I believe with our Seesaw for Schools, it might be unlimited. What I created in mine was like a training class in order to play around for this training. But you might want to create what's called a sandbox class, and that's what many teachers do so that they can practice their assignments before pushing them out to their student. So we'll call this sandbox Kroll. And again, she's kindergarten, not that it really matters because you have access to all the library. So now when you go back up here, it shows how many classes you have. So your one that you're going to push things out to students would be here. And your sandbox class is where you might want to go to do all your practicing, making an assignment that you want to test out thoroughly. And when you do that, when you go to assign work to students, it'll give you which classes you want to assign it to. So you will, if you work in your sandbox, you could assign it to Miss Kroll's class. It's up to you. If you decided not to keep this class, you could go ahead and archive it or delete it through the classes over here. Trying to think where we saw that, the archive class. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. So we've got Miss Kroll's class. It's all set up. So when we go here, they give you this nice little handy dandy video. At the time I'm filming this, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of that after you've watched it, but it will give you some information about it. So that's the basics about setting up your account. Let's go over here one more time. We do have the wrench, and these are your class settings. So over here under the teacher would be your teacher account. These are how you're setting up your class. If you want to look at the students, do you want them signing in? At this point, I'm not sure how this is going to work. I believe we're going to use something called Clever. So let's not worry about that. And when you look at families, maybe because we have no students set up, it's not allowing me to do the families. So we've got our class name, grade level. You could change that if you needed to. Managing teachers. If you have a co-teacher that you're going to invite for your class, you can go ahead and input their email and it will invite them, or you can generate a link. You're going to have the same permissions to approve items, invite, and approve parents, edit or delete items. So right now it's just Miss Kroll. So adding a co-teacher might even be if you have a intern for the year, if you have a special education teacher who works with your class, or maybe the OT or PT or speech person, maybe even our special area teachers. We're going to need to figure out how we're going to set those up. For now, I would wait and just not invite anyone until you speak to those people. So we have class themes. You can actually change the colors here. You can maybe Jen, let's see. I bet Jen is a purple kind of gal. So we'll pick purple for her. And class icon, again, that's you can pick some different features. So if your students have more than one class, this might help them identify yours. So like Miss iCourse might pick the little art symbol. Let's see. I think Jen's kindergarten class, she last year she was using a forest theme. So we'll give them the owls. Right now, how we're signing in, just leave that until we know for sure, but you would change their mode here. Managing students. Okay, you can click on the student. You can add students. I'll show you how to do that later. And you can change these icons. You can add emojis that would help you identify maybe what their reading group is, but we'll talk about managing students in another area. Home learning codes. I'm not sure at this point whether we'll be using these or not, but this is where you would find that information. Whether you allow students to like and comment on things. Enabling likes, you would click this on. I'm not allowing student comments at this point. Every time a student comments, you should definitely, if you have this toggled on, you should make sure that you're requiring that you approve them as well. But I'm going to turn that off for her. And if we go down here, students can see each other's work. If you let students see each other's work, it will show in their feed on the side every student in the class when every time they submit an assignment to their journal, everybody can look at it. That's really not good for privacy, particularly because we have a lot of differentiation we want to do. So you want to turn that off. Signs. If you are adjusting this while students are signed in, it will sign everybody out. So make sure you're doing that when students are not working. So now they cannot see each other's work. New items require approval. Every time something goes into your student journal, you want to make sure that you approve it, whether it's parent comments or student work, because some of the other trainings I've been to, definitely the trainers indicate that they have received either inappropriate words or inappropriate pictures. So leave that on. Enable editing. That's where students can return work and fix it. And you do want sample student, keep that on. Enabling family access will allow them to have invites. You can manage them. And each of these, we need to add some people before we can do. You need to make sure you approve what it is because they can actually comment on their students' work, their likes and comments. So make sure you're approving all of that if you choose to turn that on. I'm going to not have that on for Jen yet because we're enabling access, but really she has nobody signed in yet. The blog we'll talk more about. I'm going to leave this turned off for now for Jen. Managing folders, you'll be able to get some more information about creating folders to help keep you organized. You can do it by theme, subject, area, or project. And there's a way to show add to folder step, which is a way you can have a reminder for yourself or for students. So I'm going to turn that on for her. And students would be reminded, I think for kindergarten, that's going to be a little young. You can actually have students decide which folder, whether it's reading or math, that they're submitting work to. I think it's easier to leave that off for now. And managing skills. There'll be a whole section we'll talk about skills. This is where you're going to be looking at your report card features. Managing skills, you would come in here and share. These are, it will save it just like your library information, your activity library, your skills will be shared within all of your classes. And you can add skills here. Talk more about that later. And the rating scale, I am going to leave mine at 4 stars because right now in second grade we have a student earns a 1 if they're above grade level, a 2 if they're on grade level, a 3 if they're below grade level, or 4 if they're way beyond, way below grade level. So I'm going to keep 4 stars that I'm going to be able to score at. And then I can choose a color scheme for those. So maybe since in our second grade, 1 is the highest, I'm going to leave that at the lightest color. And I might choose that. So Jen could go in and change that all she wants. So you'll be able to, it says tag students' posts with your own set of skills, assign a star rating. I believe that we have that upgrade, so I'm not sure why we would need to try it for 60 days, but we'll find that out. I'll find that out before the training. So we have our skills picked out. And now other. Save to camera roll. Basically, any of the pictures, it'll save in a long roll. If you're having trouble uploading information, or your students are, you can change the type of video quality, whether it uploads slow or faster, or what quality you're using. I'm just going to leave that at the basic setting now, but that can adjust how things happen in your class if you'd like. And later on, if you need to reset your class QR codes or family invite codes, you can do that here. And here's where you would archive this class. So if Jen chose to go into and get rid of that sandbox class, she could go into our archive class and choose to do that. We're going to cancel that. So she has no students. The next thing they're prompting her to do is add students, and we're going to wait on that. And that's the basic setup of your account.